Welcome everyone to Already Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Tara, and we are going to talk about the Twilight Zone, Season 3, Episode 25. It's called The Fugitive. So, full spoilers for the episode as always. And I would like to start this one by just saying that as I was watching this episode, which involves the friendship of an alien impersonating an old man who has befriended a little girl named Jenny, that as I was watching this episode, there was a few times in my head where I kind of snickered and said, oh, we're going to crack a joke about this being problematic because we're viewing this through a very cynical lens where, you know, an old man befriending a young child and, like, sneaking into her room and, you know, having secrets away from her guardian and things like that. It's very easy to sort of view this cynically and say this is extremely dodgy and all these things. Rod Serling's narration at the end of the episode, which was stand out in and of itself because he actually appeared on camera again at the end. He doesn't usually. Usually the ending's just him narrating. But he appears again to tell us the end of the story. And normally he'll make some sort of statement about just, you know, summing up the themes of the episode and, you know, yada 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 in the Twilight Zone. But here he actually kind of gives us the end because it was sort of ambiguous and he sort of filled us in on the... Essentially, you know, at the end of a movie where sometimes it'll say, and in the years that followed, blah, 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 blah. He essentially did that with his closing narration. And his final line of that narration meant everything I was thinking and joking in my head before that I thought, we're going to talk about this in the episode, but we're going to say, but to be fair, it's very sweet and innocent because it's of its time, and we're just looking at it through this cynical, modern, jaded lens. The final line of this episode turned the entire thing into an episode in which our main character is grooming a little girl named Jenny. Because as Rod tells us at the end of the episode, she is going to marry him once she grows up.
Maybe when she grows up. Maybe they have different customs on this alien planet.
No, I think the way he phrased it did imply that it was...
He said she'll become queen.
Okay, I took that as at least when she's in her late teens. Maybe I'm just hoping for too much.
Yeah, turns out those were real red flags in this episode.
Yeah, because it's like at first, okay, so he's hanging around with all the kids and they know he's got powers and they're playing spaceman with him and he pretends to be an alien, but not like what he actually looks like, just like a random kind of goofy alien. And they're all having fun and whatnot. But there's scenes in this episode where she sneaks into his house or his apartment and he sneaks into her bedroom because he can shapeshift. He can literally become like a little mouse or a fly, as we see in this episode. So he sneaks into her bedroom and they have to whisper to each other. At one point he also says the phrase, I appreciate you not telling our secrets or my secrets, and I'm like, that's a really dodgy sounding line.
She calls him her boyfriend at one point too.
At one point, and then he sits her on his lap when he's talking to her.
Yeah.
But throughout the episode, I'm thinking, this is actually meant to be a sweet sort of friendship and all that, and the idea that we're kind of rooting for her to
he's an old man,
to help him because there's these two bounty hunters obviously by the end we realize they're not actually bounty hunters per se, but throughout the episode we think, oh, this is two bounty hunters who are hunting him down to take him back to his home planet, and she's ducking and diving, helping him evade them, and we're kind of rooting for them because they're likable enough characters. But then at the ending, Rod's just like, oh yeah, she goes back to his planet with them, and later on she becomes queen because he's king. We find out he's king of his planet.
He just needed to escape for a while.
Yes, that 8,000 year tenure as king got a little boring, so he ran off to Earth.
Be an old man on Earth.
I guess people are.
If he wanted to play with children, why wouldn't he just be a child? Be a child.
Be a children. We're off to a strong start. I don't, because maybe he didn't intend to. Maybe that's not what he started doing. Admittedly, though, why wouldn't he just change? We can see that he can change as much as he wants to any form, but he keeps becoming this old man version.
It's still okay. So he's at least 800 years old or something, right? they say, or like 1,000 years or
I
something like that.
think he'd served 4,000 years of his term as king already, so he's at least like 4,000 and something.
Right, and he's but he looks like he's a teenager. Like his actual image, like Rod's like, oh, by the way, this is what he actually looks like, and it's a headshot of some teenage kid who's like, oh, it's okay because he's a handsome, white boy or something. Like that's supposed to make this all okay. But no, it's still problematic if like a teenager is in love with like a 9-year-old girl.
Well, because this is the thing because I thought what the episode was going to do was he was going to leave as he was supposed to by the end of the episode, but the aunt was so mean to her and so like, oh, I do this for you, I keep a roof over your head, and you're so like you're so unthankful and whatever. And I thought maybe by the end of the episode, the real story of the episode was going to be that the aunt kind of like loosens up and sort of bonds with her, and they sort of realize that they've got each other, and there's maybe a happier end. So he's accomplished like making their lives better before he leaves. I thought that's where it was going to go when we were like halfway through. I thought that's where this ultimately is going. That's where the heart's going to be. And if you told me no, that's not the case, she's still awful and she wants to go with him back to his planet and he takes her with her, and that could still, I suppose, technically be sweet in a kind of a fun hijinksy way. But
yeah, he's gonna break the prime directive for her because he has compassion for her situation, not because he's in love with her and he wants to make her his queen. Gross.
And we also didn't even mention she's got like a leg brace, which she walks around on, and like a part through the episode she kind of asks like, why don't you heal me, and his reason is that it would make it obvious to the bounty hunters where he is, so he's not done it. But then once he realizes he's been found out anyway, he's like, well, before I go, there's no point in not doing this now, so let me fix your leg. And he pulls out some sort of weird like doohickey.
Looks like a dish scrubber.
Oh, that was the other thing that made me go, oh, that's a weird line, is when he's like, close your eyes. like, lie in the
he
bed,
lays
close
her
your
out on
eyes.
the bed, takes off her pants and her leg brace.
And I really can't emphasize enough where throughout the episode I kept thinking to myself, okay, so many of the moments and lines are making me go, oh dear, but it's only because I'm viewing it through a specific lens. It's meant to be a heartwarming tale of this friendship.
Right, which is characters that we've had before in the Twilight Zone.
Yes, we've had the kid who befriends the older man or the older
who's
woman.
Who's in the building with them, or
and
it is sweet.
Yes,
because you can tell there's nothing nefarious happening. Like he just is good at talking to children.
Yeah.
Which there are people like that.
And he has a playful heart, so he enjoys playing baseball with them. He enjoys, playing aliens and spacemen with them. Like, fine, all very sweet.
Playing make believe, yeah.
But then it turns out he's Woody Allen.
Ew. Yeah, gross.
It's just the best comparison I can give you off the top of my head. Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say nasty things about Charles Beaumont, who wrote this episode.
He's written a lot, and a lot of ones we love.
But I could, when I got to the end of this, and it's like, and eventually, they got married and she became queen. All I could think was, what depraved, sick bastard wrote this? This is like some sort of weird fantasy of like grooming a child. Like, what is this?
Yeah, not cool. Rod should know better too.
The sad part is because when Rod delivers all this exposition at the end to explain the ending, he's upbeat about it. It's not like a sad ending or anything. It's
this is great. She'll become his bride one day, and it's all okay because he's actually a teenage boy. He looks like a teenage boy, even though he's like 4,000 years old. So it's still grooming.
Yeah, I mean, I want to go out on a limb here and say that a 16-year-old with, what is she, like 9? Is still grooming.
She's like 9.
I'm still going to call that grooming, even if technically the older person is still under 18.
Yeah, she might even be younger than 9. I'm not very good at ages anymore.
Yeah, this is... the sad part is I actually think it's kind of a fun episode for the most part.
Sure. Yeah.
Like the hijinks of running around, hiding from the two men, trying to find him. The various sort of teasing of what he actually is or where he came from, like that I thought was solid, and I was having enough fun with it. And then the ending had to go and make all of it really weird and uncomfortable, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
So,
kind of a unsettling episode when you look through it at a modern lens, or even at the time. Like, I think people should have known better.
yeah, because the big thing at the end is that the two guys want to take him. They apparently can freeze people because they walk into the living room and look at the aunt and like some random guy who I guess is a friend of the aunt's. I was never explained.
Was he there before? I
never saw him before.
Who's this guy smoking?
Yeah, I don't know who it was either. She had a friend over for some tea or something. I don't know, but
was it the doctor? It's the only other person.
Maybe it was.
Pretty sure he left.
Maybe it was a doctor because the doctor did check her leg not too long before that. Maybe it probably was a doctor. Now you've brought that up. Yeah, I kind of forgot the doctor. I forgot the doctor was even there. To be honest, there's such a nothing thing.
Yeah, it's the only other character I could think of.
He's just there to say the leg's fixed after the magic doohickey's done its.
But she's dying. Yeah.
Done its thing. Oh, that's right. Yeah, but she's dying though. But that was the other two guys, the two aliens, because they knew that he'd come back to save her. So they lured him in. But they agreed to give him a minute to speak to her before they're going to take him back. But this is the thing, they're not hunting him because they don't like him. They actually think he's a great king. He's the best leader they've ever had. Yeah. So they want him back in charge.
His vacation's going too long.
He's been playing too much golf during his presidency, and they want to take him back to the White House. All right.
Not a great comparison, but yes.
And the whole thing is that they're all going to take him, but he can shapeshift, so he shapeshifts into her, so there's two of the same little girl. Well, you don't know which one of us is really me, so you're going to have to take both of us. So that's the end of the episode. And then Rod shows up, sitting on the bed, to show us the photo of... Because this is the thing. I don't think the point of him showing the photo is them trying to make it okay that this is like eventually a love story. I think the point of showing the photo is like, hey, she's in for a treat. Look at this handsome young man that he actually is.
Yeah, right.
That's the point of this moment. It's not
yeah.
Try to justify anything.
Lucky her.
I genuinely think that was the point of this.
I think so too.
So I don't even know where to go from there. Is there anything left to really talk about? I feel like this is coloring the whole episode at this point.
I mean, it's not a good episode.
I mean, were you against it before that? Were you like not enjoying any of it?
I mean, it was kind of fun. Like you said, the hijink stuff. I thought those guys, when they showed up, they were some sort of men in black looking for the alien. Because I'm pretty sure we realized, I don't know if they say he's an alien like right away, but I'm pretty sure Rod said it in the previous episode for the preview of this one, that he was a fugitive from another planet.
It's in the description, so we definitely knew that last week. So yeah, I think the premise is fine, and the relationship's actually fairly pleasant until it spins it all.
But the ending makes it like, ooh, it's so cringy now that I can't enjoy. I don't think I would enjoy a rewatch of this.
I think the sad part is that I don't think they were aware of how many of the moments that in the episode, like, I was already kind of like cracking dark jokes about in my head. I don't know, well, not even cracking jokes. I wasn't like adding anything to it. I was just kind of going, oh, that's not aged well, or you know, things like that. I don't think, like, surely there's moments, because there's a moment when he's carrying her up the stairs, and what was it she says?
She calls him her boyfriend at that time.
She doesn't. No, but this is I'm trying to get to, though. It's not what she says. It's what he says, because it's at one point he refers to her as his girlfriend. I can't remember why he says that. She asks a question that makes him respond, well, then you wouldn't be my girlfriend anymore, I think was the line he had. And I thought, I get that was meant to be like just like a sweet jokey thing, although maybe it wasn't. That we've gotten to the end. They've got a future together.
I don't know, man.
This one is it's a grooming episode. I don't even know what to call it. I'm always going to remember this as the grooming episode now. But it's not the villain who's grooming. It's not the villain who's like where it's like a dark tragedy where the villain gets away with it. It's the sweet hero who's the grooming one.
Yeah, yeah, it's just wrong. It's a wrong. They did the wrong thing.
Not just slightly though, it's like spectacularly wrong.
Yeah. I really feel like they should have known better at the time still. I mean, this girl is just so young.
Yeah, because if it was with a teenager and like we find out that he's actually a teenager, then it's like, okay, so they're actually teenagers, even though technically he's 4,000 years old, so it's not really, but whatever.
It would be easier.
Yeah, it would be like, oh, okay, all right.
We still might make the grooming like connection, but still, like if he were like 4,000 years old, but I mean, this seems particularly bad.
Okay, well, clearly, I don't think we have anything else we would like to discuss.
No.
Of this episode.
I liked seeing I can't remember her name, but the woman who plays the aunt was in the Beverly Hillbillies.
Okay, Nancy Culp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean she was mean in this episode, but she's an actress I enjoy seeing still.
Oh well. Also, even just the idea that the character turns out to be someone who's like, because I was expecting a twist where he's not actually like a criminal, but to find out that the reason why he ran away or left, like I was expecting there to be a reason, like, oh, they were going to like force him into an arranged marriage or something like that. You know, maybe some reason why we would, you know, would justify why he wanted away because we're trying to control him. And why did he run away?
To find his child bride.
It was, well, no, I mean, no. The reason he gives is I was bored. That's it. That's your reason that they're having to come and find you to take you back is because you were bored of your job.
It's like Death Takes a Holiday. That story.
I don't know that story, but sure. I don't. They somehow immediately made a character who seemed fairly likable, if a little old-fashioned, into someone who's unsympathetic and then a creep in the space of about 30 seconds.
Someone who should be on a list somewhere.
So there you go. That is The Fugitive. Next time, we've got a story called Little Girl Lost. Is she lost in space with a creepy old man?
They always do this, don't they?
There's always a link with something. Anyway, here's the description on IMDb. Awakened in the middle of the night by the cries of his daughter, a father enters the girl's room to find that she has vanished, even though he can still hear her crying out for help. Well, that sounds good. That sounds creepy.
Sounds like Poltergeist. I know it's a movie you don't love, but
I don't hate it. I just think it's overrated. So, okay.
I mean, I'm not gonna like die on the mountain of Poltergeist, but
well, it's better than the remake of Poltergeist, which was really, really bad.
See it. Yeah.
Poor Sam Rockwell.
Oh yeah, that's when we were still rooting for him to be a movie star. And then he got an Oscar. He's
been in good things, yeah. I mean, he's not like a big action star, but he's been in good films.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. Like Sam Rockwell, the most underrated actor, but now you can't say that because he's got an Oscar.
Sure, but then again, Joaquin Phoenix got one for Joker, so I mean, it doesn't really mean that much now.
I mean, Joaquin Phoenix is a great actor.
He is a great actor, but he did not deserve one for that performance.
Yeah, I mean, it was fine. It was always going to go to him, though.
Okay, why are we talking about this? Can we wrap up?
Yeah. You're the one who does the wrap-up.
I know. Well, I was hoping you'd have something to say about next week's potential episode, but...
Looking forward to
it. He just went left. Why I pointed to my right when I said went left, I don't know. Don't at me. Alright. If you enjoyed the episode, please do like and subscribe and comment. All these things are important and help us out a lot. You can also support us financially, can't you, Tara?
That's right. If you enjoy our reviews, please check out our Patreon page. It's patreon.com/MildFuzzTV. And if you donate as low as $1 per month, you will get access to bonus episodes of other shows we do. And if you donate $5 per month, you'll get access to this Twilight Zone review and other ones 1 week early. And some other shows you get a day early. So please check it out. And thank you.
Yeah, otherwise, guys, on Twitter at mild_fuzz for channel updates. But that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV in the Twilight Zone.